What's up, y'all? It's me, ManiacDgod, back at it again with another stream, and today we have a One Piece fights tier list. You click right over here, somewhere in that area, from my Naruto fights tier list. That was real good, was real fun. Had a lot of fun doing that, and now we're gonna do One Piece. It's gonna be a series because I couldn't find the best fights, so I'm probably gonna do after this one. I'm definitely gonna do a JJK one. Probably gonna do a Dragon Ball Z one. I don't know if, cause I've only seen the anime. I don't know if One Punch Man has enough elite fights in the anime for me to do a whole tier list on it. But we might try it out. Might do some 7 Deadly Sins, cause I love that anime. Definitely gonna do Black Clover. So yeah, if you're a fan of tier lists, man, like the video, sub to the channel, cause we're gonna be pumping out a whole series of ranking anime fights and manga fights. But you know, man, we're just gonna hop right into this because this is a lot. So we're gonna do this. Yeah, I don't need to censor it because this is. So how do I want to do this? Do I want to go in order, or do I want to do my favorite fights? I'm just gonna run through it in order. Shanks' crew versus. I'll put that in C because it wasn't really that much of a fight. Haruma the Bear didn't really put up that much of any type of challenge or anything, but it was cool. Like, it would be a F tier fight any other situation other than seeing Shanks' crew and like really seeing what pirating is about. Axe Hand Morgan, trash. Who was before Axe Hand? This is Alvida. Fat Alvida. I'm gonna put that in D only because it was the start of Kobe, like Kobe's adventure. Some of this is gonna be more storytelling than actually how good the fight was. That's gonna be like the in between the same tiers. Like, that would be like the choreography of the fight, most of that, because most of One Piece's fights is just storytelling rather than actual elite combat. This is E. I'm also, if the fight's like super unmemorable, like most of the early pre-time skip when Luffy was just knocking fodder out of his way, they're probably gonna go into the E tier. Zoro versus Kabaji, E tier. Luffy versus Buggy, E tier. Zoro versus the two, like all of these pre-time skip fights. Maybe it's because it's been a while since I've seen the pre-time skip. Like, obviously I've reread One Piece, rewatched it twice, but them early pre-time skip. Actually, I lied. I'm gonna move Luffy's up to the beginning of D just because of the kick to the balls. That was hilarious and actually made me laugh in real time. Hot take. A lot of people don't agree. I can't stand Captain Kuro. I didn't like anything about anything that he did. Like, at all. Oh, wait. We need... Shit. How do you... Add a row above. There we go. We don't have an S tier. Every tier list needs an S tier. Especially when we got... I'm gonna put Zoro vs. Mihawk in A. I'm gonna try and hold off on the S's. That might make it up to S, because it was just such a legendary thing that I'm not gonna hunt rabbits with a cannon. And we know it's gonna set a precedent for the rematch, but for now, I'm just gonna put that into A. Sanji versus Pearl. I think that's about C. Only because there's gonna be so many fights. We can rearrange to see exactly which ones I like better than other ones, but Luffy versus Don Krieg was good for the time. Like, at that point, it was the second best fight in the story after Zoro versus Mihawk. Being able to just to see the grit on Luffy punching through the iron, all the weapons and stuff. Don Krieg was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. As far as pre-time skip villain goes, especially East Blue villains, Don Krieg was kind of nice, but it wasn't that elite of a fight. I'm gonna put Zoro versus Hachi a little bit over it, simply because, okay, this is my list, by the way. Feel free to comment or hop in the chat and say if there's anything you disagree with, but in my personal opinion, the fact that in Sabaody, however you like to say it, that Hachi was like, I'm sorry I hurt you when we fought, and Zoro was like, I don't remember, like, it's not, if I recall correctly, you didn't leave a single mark, you didn't touch me once. I had to go back and reread, and apparently he didn't touch Zoro once. I thought that was super cool, so I'm putting that a little bit higher because of that. Sanji and this dude, that was a Kabaji level fight, I'm not gonna lie to you. Usopp versus Chu. First B tier fight. Y'all will see a bias. I'm letting you know right now. You will see a Usopp bias in this tier list. But for a good 7 months straight when I first joined One Piece Twitter, my handle was ManiacDgod, in parentheses, Rubber Band of Doom. Because that was legendary, that was iconic, and if you disagree, you're wrong. Luffy versus All-Long, top of B. It's not one of Luffy's best in my opinion. It was good because it was like the first major Luffy fight, the first time we seen him struggle for real. Like, I mean, obviously he struggled a little bit with Don Krieg, but this was like a, Luffy's really in for it type of fight. But honestly, I don't think Arlong was really all that nice. He just happened to be a fishman. Oh, that's where I left my water jug. I was looking for this all day and I need it because this tier list is going to be a lot of talking. I'm only putting this in D because it was the start of the Zoro's racist jokes. Putting this in the bottom of C only because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. If they ever get a rematch of this, even if it's just like they have a sparring session, this can move up to like B tier level and it'll be like the same type of thing as pre-time skip Zoro versus Mihawk, like showing a precedent of what's gonna come later. But I like Zoro versus Luffy, but it's not. Never mind, there's only been 3. I would say it's not even top 3 straw hat fights, but there's only been 3, so I guess it makes it. Well, it's a chopper fight, so can't be that high, but I can't really tell who this is. Can I make this big? I don't think I can make this big. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'm trying to remember, but I don't. This is Luffy versus Mr. 3? It doesn't look like Mr. 3, but I'm looking at the order. Either Mr. 3 or Igaram. I don't think Luffy fought Igaram. I don't remember Little Garden that well. Since I'm putting it at the bottom, since I can't really tell who that is, nor do I remember. If I do search images with Google, will it tell me? Yes, obviously it's Luffy. Okay, thanks for being absolutely useless. Cool. Luffy versus Crocodile. This is going... Hold on, do they have... Okay, they do have multiple rounds. Round 1, I'm going to put in A because it was like, oh holy shit, Luffy can lose. And seeing a Logio was just diff at the time. I'm putting part 2 right above the Dawn Creek fight. Nah, I'm putting it top of C. Water Luffy was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. But outside of that, round 2 was partly off-screened, partly like, oh my gosh, Luffy can touch him, but then it was just like, okay, Luffy got mid-diffed. And then part 3. Gum Gum Storm is still to this day one of Luffy's best finishers, up there with Gatling and Bajrang Gun. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we're gonna put that top of S. We gotta fly through this a little bit because they're so... Okay, there aren't that many fights, but there's so many fights. Sanji versus Mr. 2. I'm putting that at the top of B. Probably Sanji's best fight. I'm not really the biggest fan of Sanji fights. I like his fighting style, but he's never going up against somebody who I'm like, ooh, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I like this villain that Sanji's going up against. Not really ever. I mean, Virgo had a chance, but then it was such a short fight. Low key a low diff, so I didn't really. I don't really care too much for that. This fight, damn, I do like it more than the Sanji fight. But it wasn't a better fight. I like it more, but it wasn't a better fight. Usopp's speech, yo, that hit. Bro's face broken, got up. He's like, I'm not gonna let you laugh at my captain's dream. He's gonna be king of the pirates. And him and Chopper are locked in. Like I said, you're gonna see some Usopp bias in this. But if you're telling me that wasn't an elite fight, not elite. If you're telling me that wasn't a good fight, you're tripping. And the middle of B is pretty good. You get like an 87 on, I mean not 87, an 85 on your test, an 86. You're like, okay, yeah, I did good. Nami versus Miss Doublefinger. D. But underneath because no funny gag came from that. Nami just looked amazing the whole time. Zoro versus Mr. One. The best fight in Alabasta. Zoro's best fight to this day. Don't at me, but you could at me if you wanted to. Thanks, I've become stronger. Yeah. That was it. And if you're a real nerd and you get deep in the One Piece trenches, might have been the first time somebody used Haki. And it was my boy Zoro, so you know. That's elite. That's elite cinema right there. This is Luffy versus Bellamy. Bottom of B. It wasn't really a fight. It was an embarrassment, but it was okay. I didn't really like most of these priest fights. This is Zoro versus. It was good seeing how, I don't remember his name, but that Shandy, and he got down. It was a nice little fight, seeing the little boosters and whatnot. It was all getting a challenge, but it wasn't too much of anything. Gadatsu versus Chopper. It was less funny than the Sanji Ball Priest fight. I cannot tell who this is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Is it Nami versus, or is that? Hold on, is Robin's fight on here? Yeah, Robin's next. So this is Nami versus. Yeah, you're just gonna go in the I don't remember who you are. I'm gonna do E/I don't remember. I'm assuming she used a dial. That's why she's sitting on this person's face like that. I mean, wish that was me, but LOL. I spelled that wrong. Robin's fights. It's sad she doesn't have another fight, but it wasn't better than Zoro versus Luffy. All she really did was just roll this guy, talk about some architecture, and call it a day. But, I mean, it was okay. Zoro versus Om, I think. I'm a huge Zoro fan. The first time seeing the Phoenix, learning to send air slashes, but we can't populate beats so much right now. Luffy versus NL, A tier. Multi-round fight. It was seeing NL, seeing someone who could hurt him was diff. It was all on the line, especially the last round. Luffy put it all on the line, going back up the beanstalk to ring the bell, and one of the best finishers. Not the actual move, but the spread and the giant Luffy in the shadow, the sky. It was pretty good. Wasn't really a fight for real, but Zoro and Sanji working together. We need more Zoro and Sanji. 2v, whatever. Like, they should have kept him and King and Queen in the same area, and they did all the fighting on the main floor. That would have been elite. We need more Zoro and Sanji. Where'd I put my other gag fights? Afro Luffy was intense, but Foxy fucking sucked. Hot take. Make it hotter. I think Usopp versus Luffy is a top. I'm not gonna spoil the number, but it's one of the best fights. The thematics, the expectations being blown, the motherfucking actual choreography of it. It was the prep time, the IQ, the Usopp gas. Give me all of it. Top fight so far. Sanji versus the noodle guy. Sanji kind of cooked, but like seeing him with knives, acting like there were swords was kind of cool. But like, again, Oda screwing Sanji because he doesn't give him a villain with any respect. Like, you never see a Sanji pony, you're like, oh, I respect this guy. They're always goofy, they're always stupid, they're always incompetent or ugly or a mixture of all of them. And it's just like, okay, good work, Sanji, but like, we could have gave him somebody better. What did we just do? So this is Frankie on the train. Oh, when he fought the dude on the top of the train, I'm putting that on the top of E. It wasn't really that good of a fight, but it was Frankie's first, like, we didn't have Frankie versus Luffy in here. When they fall on the bridge. That was a better fight than this, but freaking Reverse Centaur, that was kind of fucking hilarious. Luffy versus Bluno. It was so hype. It was so freaking hype seeing Gear 2, bro. And the fact that he just completely outclassed and outmatched Bluno once he went Gear 2. almost to the top of B. Frankie versus this guy. Fuck that guy. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. This fight wasn't that elite, but if you read the freaking redrawn by the dude who made Food Wars version of this, I can't put it any lower because that wouldn't exist if this fight wasn't there. Again, bias, I don't care. This is the highest you will ever see a chopper fight in any ranking that I ever do. But it's because Monster Point moved the masses. The villain sucked. The villain's ability sucked. Choppers, everything up until Monster Point sucked, but Monster Point moved the masses, fed generations, and then it completely sucked since then. It's fucking garbage. Chopper fucking sucks. But that moment was elite fucking cinema. Louis versus Lucci. I don't think there's any contest to this. I don't think anyone's gonna debate this. Can I? Thank you. I don't think there's any debate to that. Luffy versus Lucci. The Gum Gum Gatling, top one finisher in all of One Piece. The thematics, the story, the choreography, the power-ups, the fights, the ability, everything was just on point. Peak fight right there. Peak fight. Literally everything I said about Luffy versus Bluno, the same thing Zoro and Ashura. However, Usopp's sword was hilarious, and I did like that. I like that a lot. Where's Sandy versus Mr. 2? Right there. This is Usopp. This is Arlong. Chu, Monster Point, Bellamy, Croc, Don Krieg, Shanks, Gin. Oh no, Pearl. Not. Wait, is that Gin or Pearl? No, I see the tambourines. That's Pearl. It was a little bit better than the Pearl fight. Both of them still fucking suck. Ooh. Ace versus Blackbeard. Now, this literally created the entire post-time skip. Put Blackbeard on the map. First time we got to see Ace fight for real, for real. But the off-screen, no me. Top of B. That was a really, really good fight. This nigga versus Duval. Only because Duval was, like, the whole thing that came after that was funny. I'll put it right next to him and this pasta dude. Neither one are really elite. Oh, where's the last? I'll put it right there. A little bit better because the Usopp 10-ton hammer. Usopp versus Perona. Peak. Actually, I'm putting it higher because he saved the whole crew. If it wasn't for Usopp versus Perona, crew would have lost to Thriller Bark. That's elite. That's elite. And I'm gonna put right next to it Zoro versus Zombie Ryuma. Real good fight. Real good sword play. I wish Ryuma wasn't nerfed, but I mean, Zoro would have lost if Ryuma wasn't that nerfed. A lot of people sleep on this, but the Straw Hats versus Oars was the best. Is the best group fight in One Piece. seeing all the Straw Hats work together, we need something like that. I was hoping we'd get something a little like a taste of that on Roof Piece, but only 2 of the Straw Hats came. That was elite choreography, elite group fight. Luffy versus this fuck ass nigga Moria, bro. Put that shit in the bottom. That shit was the assest of ass. And it's so hard being a Thriller Bark defender, because I think it was a good arc. I think the comedy was probably top 1 in all of One Piece. I think storyline was pretty good, broken everything about it was elite except for Moria. And even his story was good, but his powers were cool. His character design was terrible. His final fight was terrible. He just didn't eat at all. So, yeah, put that shit in the bottom of ass. Damn. I gotta put this in E. Like, you have to put this in E because it was a no diff. He sliced him, he dodged some things, and then it was pretty much over. Nothing happened. It wasn't part of the fight. If this was moments in One Piece, yeah, we moved that up higher, but it's not moments. It's just fights. And I'm sorry, it wasn't really a fight for real. This is the Pacifista fight. Again, not really a fight, but it was a really cool combo move, so I'm gonna put it on the top of E. This is Luffy versus the sisters. I'll put it right there with Axe-Hand Morgan. They had no business losing to Gear 2 Luffy when they're both Devil Fruit. They're both zone hockey users. They lost a 2v1 to fucking Gear 2 Luffy. That is embarrassing. Magellan. He was like that. He was more like that than Crocodile Part 1. I don't need to bring Bellamy down. Why is Bellamy in B tier? Yeah. I'm a Magellan slanderer. I don't believe the Magellan hype, but it was a pretty good fight. It was more of like a Luffy spirit thing than an actual great fight thing, but Magellan's powers were pretty cool too, so I can't knock it. I'm gonna put this next between the 2 Zoro fights. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Marineford. I mean, obviously it's one of the greatest arcs of shonen, but like, it wasn't one of the greatest like battle arcs. Like, even though it was a gigantic war, none of the fights really stuck out. Like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing fight. Everything was just clashes and skirmishes and quick bouts. None of it really moved the masses like that, you know? And White Beard vs. Aka Inu follows in suit of that. I can't rank it super low though because both of their abilities are still pretty broken. They're 2 of the strongest characters in the verse. Just the hype behind the fight alone. But there wasn't like really any choreography to the fight. Wasn't much story to the fight. It was just a clash, a 2-tap, and then that was it. Same thing, Blackbeard versus Whitebeard. Wasn't much to it, so I'm gonna put them right next to each other. Luffy versus Horty. Putting it right next to Moria because they're both 2 packs of ass. Not the fight, but the villain in general. I'm gonna throw this in the middle of E. Cause I mean, they just killed the dragon. Nah, I'm gonna put it right there with these Sanji fights. Cause it was still super duper hype that that Zoro killed a giant dragon. But, and especially with the Shishi Chanson, best Zoro move out there. It was okay though. What's a great moment fight? Great moment, great moment, great moment. Yeah, I'm throwing this up there. Not because of Tashigi, but because Zoro. And have you ever seen a wild beast that you sure wasn't bite you? Okay. Okay, it's not better than Luffy versus Arlong. Do I have Luffy versus Arlong too low? Maybe this belongs there. There. It's not above Gear 2. But now I'm looking like, is Gear 2 too low? It's not better than Ashura. Okay. I think that's a fitting place for it. It's a little bit better. I was just looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is a little worse than, I have it ranked a little worse than it actually is. Next we got Wall's first fight. Oh, shit. The gears, man, the gears. The gears move the masses. Still the best sword feat to date. If it wasn't topped by the Puncture Willie. Elite cinema. Had a little bit of nice story behind it. We didn't really get at the time, but retrospectively, elite story. Which is kind of the same thing I was saying about the, I don't remember what fight I was talking about that had the elite backing to it, but yeah, top of B, I'm cool with that. Luffy versus Caesar, trash. You see all these trash villains got lined up. We got Hordy trash ass, we got Caesar trash ass, and Moria trash ass, all lined up perfectly. Frankie versus Baby 5 and that other person that was fighting alongside Baby 5. Don't remember his name at all. Frankie showed out. It's going somewhere in C tier. Because it's not better than the Gear 2 Luffy, but it's not as bad as the Robin fight. I'll put it right there next to the Shanks thing, because it was just people showing out, showing exactly what they got. I didn't expect Frankie to that's what really when the Frankie stock started taking off. When I realized that you could never not bet on Frankie because he's always going to show out. Right here. This is when I realized it. God, I gotta go faster. Luffy versus Don Chinjao, trash. Wasn't that trash. I'm gonna put it right next to these Frankie fights. Luffy and Law versus Doflamingo. Yeah. Harudran versus right there by Alvita. That's how ass that was. Sai. A little bit better, but still nothing that moved the masses. Barto. I don't know why they have so many side Dressrosa fights. Frankie versus Senior Pink, y'all already know. Y'all already know. Right under Luffy and all along. Just because that backstory hit. The Mono a Mono. Like they really zuking it out. I really like that fight. You should really like that fight too. Kiro versus Diamante. I was gonna put it top of D, bottom of C. One of those. Personally, it's my personal thing. It didn't really move me too much. Good story, but Kiros was just Diamante was really, really his power was so ass. Zoro versus Pika. Where'd I put Ashura? It's a little. Again, Luffy versus Ong just seems low. But yeah, 3,000 worlds, man. There's nothing I can't cut. I still think about that to this day. Cracker. Just because Cracker was so good. The fight was kind of poo, the way they won, but I have a lot of faith in Cracker stocks, man. Cracker was really like that. Second best fight that we've listed so far. Katakuri versus Luffy. I don't think much needs to be said about that. Elite cinema. This fucking sumo match. We really got that in here. I'll put that next to fucking Axe Hand Morgan. How ass you are. Hold on. Is this round one or is this all the rounds? Let me see. Zoro versus King. Okay, no. That's the final round. So this. I'm gonna put this next to the Chopper fight because it was just like, damn, Kaido was really like that. That's about it. I mean, the anime was kind of cool, seeing Luffy really tee off on him, but it didn't do anything at all. Zoro versus Killer. This was really elite, especially in the anime. I put it right there with the Ryuma fight. Just because it got so much better with, you know, the animation. Wait, Zoro versus Killer. So what is this? Is this Neko? Wait, what was right after that? So that's Odin versus Kaido. Which I'm gonna put next to this because it was just a great moment. Most of the fight was off screen, but it, you know, it's set up for the big climactic Gear 5 reveal. I really can't tell what this is. I want to say it's really to search Naruto. That's definitely not it. Naruto, Sasuke, Naruto. Might have thrown in E because I don't know. I can't tell what it is. I want to say that's the. I think that's Big Mom on something. I really can't tell, and I can't make it bigger either. Oh well. We don't know, but it's not. Whatever it is, it's not more ass than Moria. So I'm gonna put that right there. Skybridge versus Kaido. That bitch was a mid-diff. Where'd I put the last Kaido hype? Kaido hype. Just more Kaido hype. Roof piece. Elite action. The best action post time skip. Easily. I mean, Luffy vs. Katakuri might have something to say about that. But Roof Piece was an adventure. Killer and Hawkins, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, we got what? Killer and Hawkins, X Drake, CP0, but that looks like a swordsman. Kinemon? And oh, Kinemon killing Conjure. Leave that bitch there. That shit was not a fight for real. Jinbei versus who's who? Yeah. Mika exposition. I'll put it at the top of D. It was the first time we got to see Jinbei's like kit for real, for real. I mean, obviously he's done like strikes every now and then, but that was the first good one. First Robin fight, like all of the time skip. Better than Monster Point Chop. It was like her own little Monster Point version. Yamamama. This is just too high up, probably. This Tashigi fight. Yeah. Yeah, this is a more accurate place for that Tashigi fight. Sanji versus Queen. Where is Sanji's other fights? Because I mean, it's Sanji's best fight. Like I said, it's not really saying much. There was not really any point where I was like, oh my gosh, this fight's so amazing. But it was a nice little level up. I think it's Sanji's best fight. Had a lot of character thematics in there, so I'll put it there. Killer versus Hawkins. Where else do I put my mid? I'll put some mid right there. 2-pack of ass. Law and Kid versus Big Mom. Oh, that's part 1. Luffy versus, yeah. Luffy versus Crocodile part 1. I love Law so much, and the fact that they took down a Yonko, I think that suffices right there. Zoro versus King. In my opinion, Zoro's second best fight. One of the best. Like 1062. One of the best action chapters in One Piece. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time where I've talked about Kaido, you know this is my top 1 fight in One Piece. Luffy versus Lucci part 2. It was a mid-diff, but it was a really great mid-diff. Seeing Gear 5, seeing upgraded Lucci, especially in the anime, yo, they fucking cooked. And last but not least, Luffy versus Kizaru. I feel like it's great parallel to Odin fight. It wasn't that extensive, wasn't that long. It was a mid-diff. And we didn't get to see that much great action. But yeah, if you look at this, I feel real confident. I feel real good about this list. If there's anything in here from S down to E that you disagree with, let me know in the comments. Leave me a comment. Talk to me. Let me know how I did, how you think this went. This video was so much longer than I thought it was going to be. And so imagine if I tried to do a tier list with this, JJK, god dang, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, all that in there. I'm glad I just did a normal One Piece one. But yeah, this is... E is mostly I forgot, or it was so mid, or it was just like not even a real fight for real. So I'm not even gonna show that in this. But yeah, man. If you like this tier list, please like the video and sub to the channel because I will be doing. I'm not gonna say which one I'm gonna do next. Probably between Dragon Ball Z, Black Clover, or JJK. But I'm gonna let that go up in the air. If you have a preference, you can comment it below if you made it this far. Really appreciate it. But that's all I got for you guys this time. And I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all be safe. Y'all be easy. Peace. Peace out. Be back here for Tuesday's stream. Tuesday we got anime, Demon Slayer, and My Hero Academia. But peace out.